Greg Gutfeld loses it on his co-host for giving the both sides argument. Ladies and gents, welcome back. We're all trying to get through this week with the news that we heard of what happened to Charlie Kirk and just our reactions to it and how to cope with this. Now, a lot of people on the other side are coping in their own way. And, well, this is the both sides argument that we've heard. And we're hearing backlash because of that from different people. And even JD Vance came out and he just said, there is no unity with these people. It's just impossible.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
That's true. We can only do that at that point. And some of these organizations might include, I don't know, a social media app that a lot of us actually use. Discord, only a few days ago, said that their platform was not used in the planning of what happened to Charlie Kirk. This is what they said. They said Discord spokesperson told TMZ, in the course of our investigation, we identified a Discord account associated with the suspect, but have found no evidence that the suspect planned this incident or promoted any violence on Discord. Then a few days later, the alleged killer reportedly chatted with friends and then claimed he was making jokes about a doppelganger being seen on the news, a doppelganger of himself. And then, well, all this time goes forward. A few days later, Kirk's shooting suspect appeared to confess on Discord. What does this mean for Discord? Well, it looks like Discord will be under investigation, because if they were hiding evidence of this, well, then that could make them culpable as a complicit or an accomplice to this person. This is incredible news that's coming out, that we would be learning of this. Especially a lot of us use Discord, a Discord app, to communicate with other friends, just to as a communication device. But this is what's happening in this case. It's bizarre to see how many people are excusing or putting themselves on the line to aid and abet, or even coming forward and saying the both sides argument, as we've seen. Now this gets into Greg Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld, who is he? Of course, he is one of the most famous people right now. It's unbelievable how incredibly successful he's been with the advent of all of the late night shows, people leaving those in droves because they become just hotbeds for leftism and craziness. The woke crowd is a lot of people are tuning out to a lot of, the mainstream stuff, and they're tuning into Fox News where Greg Gutfeld has made a fantastic showing of having a late night comedy show where you can go catch this on Fox News pretty much every day. You don't have to, it looks like, even have a classic cable account. You could just go to their online version of it and check out their show. He also does panels where yesterday he just lost it on his co-host, Nick Sorter, putting this one out there saying, holy crap, Greg Gutfeld just eviscerated Jessica Tarlov for making the both sides argument about Charlie Kirk's killing. Don't play that BS with me. This was a incredible moment. I love seeing this kind of thing when, I mean, just Greg Gutfeld has been coming to the show and just absolutely speaking his mind. It feels like there's no one's gonna stop him. Not at this point. Let's see what it was he actually had to say here.
Yes, we don't need it. What is interesting here is why is only this happening on the left and not the right? That's all we need to know.
What about Vance
There's absolutely no cognitive...
What about Melissa Hortman that we just talked about?
You want to talk about Melissa Hortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Hortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
She doesn't matter?
Don't play that bullshit with me. You know what I'm saying is there was no demonization, amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same. Now you could bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that was a pro-Palestine person. So don't use your what about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argument not only doesn't fly, we don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That shit is dead. For one thing, there is no cognitive dissonance on our side. On your side, your beliefs do not match reality, so you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen. We saw a young, bright man assassinated, and we know who did it. We are not coming up with rationalizations. We are calm, we are honest, and we are resolute. We're not defensive, and I understand the defensiveness. I understand why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, your life is going to fall apart because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans and you said, but what about this? What about this? And then you see this murder after calling somebody a fascist, you realize maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica. They do. I don't believe you're part of that group, but why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell of a direct-to-consumer nihilism, the trans cult, and you know that. If you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that alone and see that for what the evil it is without having to attach all of these other things is beyond me.
I just want to be clear, and I want to let people speak. I in no way intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was horrified by it. I have not been on the five
but
since
the two
then.
sides argument, well, it's like pig Latin to a duck.
No. All that I was saying is could we have all of the information before you just say they did this? Because that is a broad brush to paint with this. And this kid
Let's have a conversation.
No.
Charlie had a conversation. He got shot. Look, I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You weren't here for a week. You came in here and it's cold. And I'm sorry, but this is a story that is immune to news cycles. It's immune to rationalizations. It's immune to bias. This thing is with us for good. And we all have to deal with that. So that means we can't live by the same arguments that you might be reading about relativism among the media. We can't deal with those stories. It doesn't matter. The media is dead to us on this story. They built this thing up. We're dealing with it. We're going to act. We don't care what the whataboutism is anymore. That shit's dead. Sorry. For the swearing as well. I apologize to the American public. I'm going to shut up for the rest of the show.
Amazing showing. Amazing showing. I love seeing it, and I love seeing the results of what's actually happening here. It looks like Donald Trump is set to designate Antifa and other left-wing groups as domestic terror organizations. He also said he'd be working with Attorney General Bondi on RICO charges for those funding these groups, meaning George Soros. Trump has had enough. It's over. This is not going to be something that's going to continue any further. This has to end. This and the apologetics coming from the left, the apologies, all of that stuff. No, a man is dead. A man is dead because this went too far. This absolutely went too far. And Greg Gutfeld is right. And this both sides arguments have to stop. It's not happening on both sides. It's happening on one side. That's exactly what's going on. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.